Today is September the 17th. And if by any chance you are of the black race and you're watching me, then God bless your soul because God knows there's enough nonsense going on to keep you occupied, right? Um, just for historical sake, today is the day that, actually, yesterday was the day that Sean Sean Diddy Combs, whatever he wants to be called. I don't know what he wants to be called. He got arrested yesterday, so mostly everybody should be tuning into channels that's talking about that, right? I won't be talking about that. Strictly doing this for you guys on the replay. Also, there's some other stuff going on in the hood with um, Bimmy still proving his innocence against ignorant street people. And I get it. I can't say I don't know why he doesn't go so hard defending his name. That's his name. That's his legacy, right? And I will chime in on it, just not this particular show. This particular show I'm doing right now is the last part. It's called The Race Pages, The War on Memory and the History, Part 3. This is the last one. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. God knows there's so much stuff going on. Matter of fact, 10 Toes is doing a show. So I'm really doing this for you guys for the replay. That's it. So that being said, let's get through some house cleaning before we just jump straight into the lesson. Poker Face Society Medicine Cabinet. You can get to this link if you get to the description. Now, seen the guy today. He's coughing, he's sneezing, nose is running. I'm like, yo, bro, you need to boost your immune system. You understand? So obviously, I told him about the Poker Face Society Medicine Cabinet. He said he had only heard of Golden Seal, and I had named a bunch of these things that would boost his immune system. The echinacea, I had mentioned the marshmallow leaf that would get rid of his mucus in his body. So, it's on him. If you guys are interested, the link is in the description. All right. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get right into this lesson. Gotta finish it. Got to. Where do we leave off? The last two lessons, let's see where we left off from part 2. King Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered Babylon. So if you was watching the last 2 episodes, not Babylon. This is why I don't like working when I'm tired. Israel had split. You had the kingdom of Israel, which was 10 tribes, and you had the kingdom of Judah, which was 2 tribes, just basically Judah and Ben. Right? So that's kind of where we left off. If you have not seen 1 and 2, please go see 1 and 2, right? Because I'm going to run through this real quick because I'm tired, but I had to finish it for y'all. And it is pretty interesting, right? So Israel splits in 931 BC. And I just explained. You had 2, at this point, you got 10 tribes, then you got 2 tribes. 10 tribes, kingdom of Israel. The 2 tribes, Judah and Ben, kingdom of Judah. Right? Then 1722, Assyria, the Assyrians, they basically come and, if you want to call it capture, but a lot of the kingdom of Israel dispersed when they came in. They disbanded. But the rest was taken into captivity. So 722, BC, before Christ, the kingdom of Israel. Those are your 10 tribes right there. I want you to look at the dates, right? This whole thing is about it's about a message within a message. I'm going to break the message down, but pay attention to the dates. Look at how many years are in between. So you had a good 200 years almost between the split and then when Assyria must have said, you know what, they weak down there. Right now is the time to go get them. Go get them right now. They all discombobulated. They don't know what's going on. They're incoherent. They running around praising all type of other alien gods, false gods. Go get them right now. They're not standing on business. They're not who they used to be. They definitely not who they used to be when King David was alive. Or Solomon. Seventeen 22 BCE, Assyria captures Israel. Now, as I have spoken to you guys, like I said, some of you know, but some of you may not know that before Christ, BC, the numbers come down, right? So it's like the reverse of what's going on right now. So the higher numbers, the farther you go back, and then they come down. So splits happen at 931. That makes sense. Assyria captures Kingdom of Israel. That makes sense. 722. And then something crazy happens. Babylon captures Assyria. When Babylon captures Assyria, naturally, the remaining Jews, or Kingdom of Israel, if you will, naturally, they have that. They take that as well, right? We're going to take everything. People, treasure, we're taking it all. I'm the captain now. Now, even though I'm tired, I'm not going to cheat you guys. I'm not going to cheat you guys. I'm gonna give you a good lesson. Up here, the Babylonian god at this time is pretty much Marduk, right? But just to, because I don't know if it was a real name for their religion. They pretty much were into, if you know about Enki and Enlil, right? And Marduk, I think, was the son of Enlil. Sometimes I read it was the son of Enki, but he was this. I'm going to say he was the son of Enlil. I'm just going to take that risk without looking it up right now. But he was their god, right? He was not considered a god in Sumer times, but we're way past that. We're way past that. But in lesser times, Mesopotamia, and I'm going to say he probably wasn't like considered a real serious god in Sumer times because these other civilizations kind of like just copied off of what the ancestors did, right? And things got watered down. You're gonna see remnants of this all through as we go through history, right? I slowed down the pace just so you could kind of like pay attention to the screen and get what's going on. So if you don't get what's going on, Assyria took the 10 tribes and then some of them scattered off. Then Assyria lost their way, and Babylon took Assyria, which naturally they took the 10 tribes. Then, because we going down, right? 586 BCE, Babylon also takes the kingdom of Judah. This is when the first temple was destroyed, right? Temple was destroyed twice. And shout out to everyone who gave the cash app. I appreciate it, right? Um, I'm not asking for a cash app right now. I'm just saying thank you because I honestly don't care if it's one or two people that really, really, and honestly, I think it is one or two people that really, really appreciate the lessons. I do it for you. So you know, when you guys show appreciation, even if it's just two, I feel great because it wasn't in vain, right? And I'll tell you why I probably did this lesson later on. It was to release a spell. I said later on that I immediately tell you, right? It was to release a spell that may be on your life, right? And not any type of spell that has got you in a particular bind, but the one that may have you confused, the one that may have you scared. Your intuition is telling you something, but you too scared. And you're probably too scared because you don't have an understanding of what really happened. You're too scared to leave your religion. You're too scared to question your religion. You're not getting the answers. Funny thing is, history is right there. It's just no one really broke it down for you. Now, my point in showing you this is that at a certain time, at a certain point, all 12 tribes were under Babylonian rule, which means they had to live with these people and share their customs. And it wasn't like, let me not say what it wasn't like, because honestly, I wasn't there. So when I read, I think probably the easiest partnership, if you want to call it that, between civilizations that was captured and their captors was probably the Hellenistic period, right? But we'll get back to that later. I don't want to bore you. That's Alexander the Great. And we're actually going to talk about that for a tiny bit. But for some reason, there wasn't a lot of push with Alexander the Great. Salute to the original man in the building. And he took over a lot of land. He took over a lot, almost probably too much. And I'll get to that later. But nonetheless, 586 BCE is when the first temple was destroyed, Jerusalem. This is what they call Solomon's temple. Under King Nebuchadnezzar II. I'm taking my time on purpose because I want you to actually comprehend what I'm saying. I could go faster, and I will go faster. But I want you to comprehend what I'm saying. Splashing says this temple was built by the jinn. I don't know. Splashing says it was built by the jinn, but you got the some other people say, "Yo, listen, he was taxing his people very hard to build this temple." Then what happens? This is why I'm taking it slow. because things, I want you to understand. I could go fast and then you're not going to understand. And I think I will repeat everything just because. Just because. 931, Israel breaks apart, right? Solomon's son, he's out here, he's wilding. He wants to continue with the pain. Pain! He's out here like that with it. Yo, I need the taxes. I need y'all to finish building. He got all type of projects in mind, right? Jeroboam, his father's advisor, is like, nah, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. I'm standing with the people. They do a split. Jeroboam goes with the kingdom of Judah, and Rehoboam goes with kingdom of Israel. Syria comes in 722, captures the kingdom of Israel. They scatter all over the earth, up north, Caucasus Mountains, all type of places. Some of them stay. Assyria is feeling good about themselves. They're like, yeah, we did that. Then the Babylonians come through with their gods. Mind you, Assyria is Mesopotamia too. That's Mesopotamia too. So it is safe to say that the Assyrian gods are pretty much very similar to the Babylonians. So, and it really don't matter because these tribes was wilding out anyway, meaning they was down to clown all around the town with different gods from Jump Street. So they with all of that. They with all of that. You want to praise a different God, they with it. It don't take a lot, is what I'm saying, for these people to be convinced. Hey, try my God out. Okay, I'm with it. Yeah, they with it. Then the Babylonians come through. Still, it's pretty much the same God, Marduk. Breaks apart Assyria. Now we got all your spoils, which is the kingdom of Israel too. Babylon is still out here wilding. They wilding for a while. They go to Canaan and actually snatch up, if you want to call it, let's call them the Israelites for right now. Let's call them the Israelites, right? Kingdom of Judah, right? These are the two tribes they was doing their thing. They was probably actually laughing at the other 10 tribes and all that. Salute to Santiago in the building. Yeah, splashing. They had no real loyalty. As we read, they had no real loyalty. And again, shout out to everybody that's here watching it live. Anybody that's watching on the replay, because you don't have to be here. The whole Diddy thing is going on right now. Salute to you. Babylon is feeling good about themselves, but the wild thing is, they went to Canaan again. They went to Canaan, snatched up the kingdom of Judah, and was like, "You're coming back with me." Now they have all 12 tribes underneath their thumb. My question to you, and it's not really a question, I want you to consider, given their track record, given their track record, as you can read on your own in the Bible, do you think they put up a whole lot of fight against the Babylonian culture? Or did they just kind of like get in where they fit in? Shout out to Big TTV. And if I have any Christians in the house that want to learn, the question goes out to you. Do you think that these people was like, nah, we standing steadfast On God. On whose God? On any God available. That's what I thought. So now Babylon got all 12 tribes. Then, as they feeling good about themselves, because I'm sure Babylon been wilding, guess who comes through? 539 BC and takes, this is like big bank take little bank. The whole thing is big bank take little bank. The whole thing. Then Cyrus the Great comes through in Persia, from Persia, and destroys Babylon, smash it to pieces. You're done. You're done. And I'm going to take everything you have now. Thank you for your riches and spoils and your people too. Now, if you noticed, Babylonians, this is Marduk up here. Over here, this symbol's a little bit different, isn't it? Underneath Persia. That's not Marduk. This is the symbol for a religion called Zoroastrianism. Now, why am I pausing? Why am I taking my time? I'm taking my time because I want you to consider the track record of the Israelites. And I want you to consider how easily they could have been inspired by other cultures. And I say could have lightly. I know they were inspired by other cultures and they borrowed, because that's what they call it today. When I say plagiarize today, many people that are part of that organization, they say, no, don't be don't be like that. They may have borrowed. Yeah, they did borrow. Thank you. Thank you. You okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. That's my food, y'all. So I gotta hurry up and get to bed. One of the things they borrowed, and I didn't put it in the slide. I'd be trying to do too much at one time. One of the things they borrowed was the story of creation. Um, so the Babylonians had their own story of creation that they got from Samaria, from Sumer, not Samaria, from Sumer. You can read these on your own. Of course, you cannot read cuneiform. So when I say you can read these on your own, you can read the translations on their own. And if I went and did a class on the translations and how they got translated, it would just draw out what we're doing right now. So we're not doing that. We're not even going to get distracted. I will do it for you another time. You know I will. But we're not going to do that right now. But if you want some of the, I always tell you come over here with a pen, right? So you can read the Epic of Gilgamesh, the creation epic, right? Read Ninhursag, Enki and Ninhursag, read that one. Those are three good ones to start off, right? And you're going to hear a story that sounds identical to Noah's Ark, except his name is not Noah. He has a real weird name. Like, I can never say this guy's name. It's really weird. But he was warned by one of the higher gods that had love for him. There was going to be a flood. It's it's not identical. It's pretty much the story we got. It threw some flavor on it, but it is the same story. Zoroastrianism was a monotheistic religion. So the Babylon gods and their stories were kind of meshed with Zoroastrianism a little bit. When you really look at Christianity, Judaism, and Islam came out of that. So when you really look at the three major religions, you kind of see you see remnants of like three different main cultures. One's Mesopotamian Sumerian, two Persian, three Greco-Roman, Greek Roman. Because the Greeks, they believed in Zeus and all of that. And I'll get into that a little bit. So you see remnants so you see a lot of stuff that was borrowed from different cultures. And again, the reason I'm quiet is because I want you to contemplate on this, how long they stayed in under each civilization for it to have some type of effect on them, for them to have post-traumatic trauma where they came out with identity crisis to this day, probably. Let's keep going. All right. Many of you have heard Judea before. You've heard of Judea. Did you know Judea was another way of saying Judah? After the Babylonian exile and the return of the Jews under the Persian rule, if I didn't mention, which I probably didn't, I mentioned it yesterday. Cyrus the Great, when he took over Babylon and he had all the Jews now, you know what he told them? Yeah, I could go back to Jerusalem if you want. Yeah, y'all free to go. Y'all good. Yeah, I could go back. I mean, it wasn't going to stop the fact that he still reigned over the territory, right? So if there was any taxes that had to be paid or whatever like that, y'all still have to comply with the ordinances and the rules. But y'all can go back. Y'all are good and free to go back and worship your gods. Now is when you're going to start to see the Pharisees and the Sadducees, if that makes sense, right? Once they're released, now you see the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and we're going to get into them a little bit more tonight. But the reason, in my opinion, the reason you see them more now is because there has to be somebody to try to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, right? You're dealing with post-traumatic syndrome. There's people coming claiming they are Israelites, but in secret, they really still love the Babylonian ways. And the Babylonian ways deserves a show on its own. I can't even really get into all of that. That's a whole different show by itself. Let's just focus on this. And then when we do the Babylonian ways, then you're going to be like, oh, I see. There was a lot going on in Babylon. Human sacrifice. There was a lot going on. Sacrificing the little kids. Why do you think they sacrifice? Why do you think young children are preferred? To this day, I think it's because they're less tainted. That's me. This is me talking, not like anything that you should write down. Why? I want to remain on this sidebar. Give me like 50 more seconds on this sidebar. Why do you think the Christians decided to do a ritual where they drink Jesus's blood and eat his flesh? Where do you think they learned that from? What part of the game was that? It sounds cute, right? Like, he's the savior. But then when you really, really slow down the conversation, is there no other way I could be blessed than by drinking it? Why would that even be a thought for human beings? And that is my 50 seconds. Unsidebar. All right. So we got Marduk, we got Zoroastrianism, we got the temple. The first temple destroyed. Solomon's temple destroyed. Who Splash and says was built by the jinn anyway. This was a Splash and saying. That's what he said. It's him. And now Cyrus the Great is like, yeah, I'm free to go back, man. I just need mine when I need it. Cool. After the Babylonian exile and the return of the Jews under Persian rule, the region that had been the kingdom of Judah was known as Yehud, under Persian rule. Later, during the time of Greek and Roman occupation, the name was Hellenized to Judea. Did you know that? So Judea is just another word for Judah. The kingdom of Judah, which is the two tribes, Judah and Ben. But when they came back strong, all 12. We here. Let's go, champ. We ready. Then the second temple is destroyed. God forbid you build a second temple and that get destroyed. Let's see what happened. After Cyrus the Great of Persia allowed the Jews to return from Babylon exile around 538 BCE, they went back to Jerusalem and began to rebuild the second temple. What makes sense? This is what, get back on your feet. Get back on your feet. What they say. Don't let one thing get you down. It wasn't one thing, but it was quite a few things. But nonetheless, get back on your feet. Anyway, the second temple was completed around 516, right? Because we're still coming down. This period marked the return of many Jews to their ancestral homeland and the reestablishment of the religious and the community life of Judea. So, many would say This whole war that's going on right now, this whole war that's going on right now is because the Jews, they're saying, yo, we was there first. We was already here. I don't know if it works like that. They lost the land. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We was already here. This is what they're saying. They can't catch a break. They cannot catch a break. However, in 70 CE, during the first Jewish-Roman War, I want y'all to pay attention because we jumped like almost 600 years. Pay attention. I just jumped on you. I just went from 500 BCE, and trust me, there was some things that went on between there. We're missing. I'm not really getting into the Maccabean revolt, which happened in like 100 and something BCE. I'm not really getting into it. I'm just jumping over real quick. So stay with me. So this is after Christ now. During the first Jewish-Roman War, right? Because every civilizations keep being taken over by another civilization. So first the Euclids, they had the area. But really they was under Roman anyway, so scratch that. But let's go to the Greeks. They had the area. Then after the Greeks had it, the Romans took over. Right? Because Alexander the Great dies. Then the Romans take over. Anyway, we at 70 CE after Christ. During the first Jewish-Roman War, the second temple now was destroyed by Roman forces under Titus, the future Roman emperor. The destruction of the second temple was a catastrophic event for the Jewish people. Again, now they dispersing everywhere. But this is what I want to get at. Judea is renamed. I just want to give you some context of what might be going on right now. Right? This war has been going on for a long time. And we have been blaming the Jews. I still blame the Jews for what's going on over there. You know why? Because you can't be like, yo, that was our land 2,000 years ago. You can do that if you want. You can do that if that's the route you want to take, which is obviously the route you took, right? You're like, yo, that was our land 2,000 years ago, son. We need that back. Nobody, no, what? They're like, yo. Now, again, I probably would not have a problem with it because I think everything would have went over real smooth. Everything was about to go over real smooth, right? Yeah, reestablished in 1948. Got a flag. Got real business. Pretty divine. Was good. But then y'all decided y'all want to keep on inching and taking land. So that's when y'all, Jewish people, y'all actually had and still have. I'm talking like y'all got defeated. Y'all have not been defeated, and I don't think y'all will be defeated. Because you got too much money behind you. But even though you got a lot of money behind you, I just want to tell you you're wrong. I just want to say that. Right? And I know what you're going to say. You're like, yo, Jamal, how can you say that? You up here teaching that the land was ours first. First of all, ours is cap. Because I don't know who you are. No disrespect. The word ours is definitely cap. Ours is a big stretch. By ours, do you mean the kingdom of Judah and Ben? Or by ours, do you mean the kingdom of Israel who got dispersed all over the place, ran up into the Caucasus Mountains, was out there wilding out, obviously started a whole clan called the Khazarians, Mongols. It got crazy. Check it out, TV was good. No Diddy for real, blood. Chill. Not right now. Yo, tomorrow. Tomorrow, check it out. Please, tomorrow. Let's end this. Let's end this tonight. So we can just go in on Diddy tomorrow. Because we would have more information anyway. That's another reason I didn't want to do Diddy tonight. Pause. That's crazy. Yeah. Tomorrow. We need more facts. We need more facts. I seen him in an orange jumpsuit. No, not right now. Not right now. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. Because I can tell you one thing. I don't even need to see Trisha. I know she's somewhere with a pen in hand and a notebook. She's in the bushes. So far tonight, we learned what? Judea. Judea is just another word for Judah. That's what it meant. But you see how you lose, like people, they say certain things a certain way and you'll lose it. You'll just lose that, right? They say it with an accent, and next thing you know, it's not Judah no more. It's Judea. They're going to call it what they want to call it. It's Judea, just like that. And for thousands of years, we've been calling it Judea, which that's the name. But it's really Judah. Then the name got changed again to Palestine. Judea was renamed Palestine by the Romans after Bar Kokhba revolt, which took place 132 to 135 CE. This is after Christ. Again, the Maccabean revolt took place around 300 years earlier. Following the suppression of the revolt, they lost. The Jews lost. The Roman Emperor Hadrian sought to erase the Jewish connection to the land and impose harsh punishments, including renaming the province of Judea to Syria Palestina. That's crazy. This name change was intended to sever Jewish ties to the region and was derived from the ancient Philistines, longtime enemies of the Israelites. This was the first official Roman use of the name Palestine to refer to the region, and it marked a significant point in the history of the Jewish people. So this may give you guys some more context of why the Jews are wilding out. But again, many of us are skeptical because many of them don't want to tell the whole truth. If these people who call themselves the Jews would came to us and be like, here's the whole truth, and they laid everything out on the table, then we may have accepted this story and be like, you know what, we're going to help you get your land back. I know a guy who knows a guy. And they'll listen to me. Right? So I don't see why this can't be worked out amicably. But the way the Jews went about it was nuts. They hiding all type of information. Don't want nobody to know they was part of the Khazarians. They got kicked. I've never seen a people get kicked out of more nations in all my life. I don't even know how you get. They got kicked out of France 3 times. Now that's crazy. I've never heard of this. And you've never heard of no Africans getting kicked out. Getting kicked out? Nah. They got removed from Spain. But we're not going to say they was kicked out of Spain. They got removed. That is understandable. But like, you know what? You got not like a list of countries where specifically they're like, yeah, so the Nigerians got kicked out of here. They got kicked out of here. They got kicked out of here. That is what you get with the Jews. And then the Jews don't want nobody to know. So because of these type of things, That's when we get skeptical as everybody else and like, yo, I I gotta double check everything with you guys now. I gotta double check. I'm sorry. Your track record is not good. It's not great. So when you say this was our land, and I say our is cap, I don't really know who you are, blood. I'm just all respect due. Please, all respect due. Right? You're running around, you're talking about, yo, you're anti-Semitic. We've already went into the Semitic etymology, right? The definition of Semitic, the reasoning for even for creating the word, which was just created in the 1850s almost, right? Mid 1800s, this word was created. Just so that they can, instead of like, just so they can group all of the people who spoke a few languages all together, they come up with this word, Shemitic. So if you speak the Hebrew, you speak the Aramaic, you speak the Arabic, there's certain words which like 1400 ethnicities really share. There's certain not words, languages that like 1400 ethnicities share. And then the people that's really out here wilding, saying, yo, you're anti-Semitic, you don't even speak none of these languages, Lord. You out here speaking Yiddish. That's wild and crazy for you to be trying to own the word, right? Now, this is why Jamel Saladin said, yo, you guys are like Karens. You got to knock it off. Come clean. Come to the table and tell us the whole truth so we can hear it. And we obviously are understanding people. And by we, I'm talking about the black people right now. I cannot speak for the other Caucasian races. They have not seemed to be it's been kind of chaotic if you look at their track record, right? Civility does not seem to be at the top of their priorities. Let's put it like that. Their track record, I'm talking about, right? Because God knows they get offended now to the point they don't even want you to know the history. No. I understand. I would never do anything like that, Saladin. You know me. Hey, I do. I know you, Mike, from work, right? But listen, it's in your DNA, blood. It's in your DNA. Fool me once, you understand? I would never do nothing like that, Saladin. I don't know. Times get hard, you will do something like that. We got to start all over again. You think no. I will continue to tell my children and my grandchildren these stories in case we got to start civilization all over again. I don't care if I know you and we're partners on the same beat. I will continue to listen. Number one, don't trust the white man. As soon as things go south, he's flipping out. He's going to try to give you smallpox. He's going to do something crazy to survive. You do it first. Facts. You do it first. It's in the track record. It's not me being hateful. It's in the track record. He does not have a good track record. I'm telling you right now. Don't fall for all of that smiley business. So we get Palestine from there, from the Romans being resentful to the Jews, just just wanting to rename them their land, just to stick the knife in them. Like, you know what? And y'all lost the war, and I'm renaming your land. Now it's no longer Judea; it's officially Palestine. That's wild. First temple was located in Jerusalem, which was part of the kingdom of Judah at the time. Jerusalem is also situated in the region historically known as Canaan. After the establishment of the Israelite kingdoms, the southern portion of the land was referred to as Judah. You know what I'm saying, Pretty Divine? And Jerusalem served as its capital, the city where the first temple was built, the kingdom in the region which Jerusalem was located, Judea. I'll just leave that there for you. Let me take me off the screen real quick, just in case y'all want to take a screenshot of that and all that. All right? All right, cool. Let us move on. Now, as I was saying earlier, there was no Sadducees or Pharisees before the split. But when they went through that whole traumatic ordeal and had to come out, now everybody wanted, yo, we gotta keep the history. We gotta let them know. The problem is you had different people you had two different groups trying to tell a story. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Let me tell you something right now. Because I've seen this done before. They did it with Josephus. Josephus the historian. Did y'all know that Josephus the historian was a zealot at first? Yeah, he was a straight Sicarii. Sidebar, there's a group of Hebrews out here. Their channel is very big. They're called the Sicarii. They have to know what that means. They have to know. They have a big channel out here. They the Israelites that be like, read. That's dumb. I don't really mess with them, right? I let them be. They got the oversized motorcycle boots and all the silver like they out here fighting vampires. I let them be, right? I don't want none of that smoke. But they're called the Sakar. I watch them sometimes. They're cool people too. They're not like aggressive. Well, it depends. If you get on their nerves, they can get aggressive to you. I'll be in the bushes, shutting my mouth, just watching things go down. But they all called the Sakari. But the Sakari was a real group. And Josephus, they call him the Jewish historian, right? I don't know how Josephus can't be really trusted. Let me tell you what happened. The Romans ran down on Josephus and his crew, pretty much killed everybody, left Josephus alive because he was supposed to be the leader of this Sakari, like they were like supposed to be the issue like ninjas, right? Left him alive, and he turned coat, bro. They brought him to Rome. They they brought your man to luxury. Yeah, he turned into a philosopher on them. Yeah, gave him luxury and riches and all that. Gave him a good title and all that. And then they told him, when you write, you write in our favor. So when you write history, yeah, the Romans been up. They same tricks been up their sleeve, rewriting history to favor what they want to be said. Yeah. So when we get into the Sadducees, well, let's just get into this right now. Who was the Pharisees? Let's just get into this right now, right? Let's distinguish. Yeah, that part, Pretty Divine. Let's distinguish between the Pharisees and the Sadducees right now. Beliefs and practices for the Pharisees. Oral law. The Pharisees held that alongside the written sculpture, there was also oral tradition. I mentioned this last night. They were very, very aggressive and strong on oral tradition. That would explain and supplemented the laws found in the Torah. This oral law eventually contributed to the development of the Mishnah and the Talmud. We'll speak about that in a few. legalistic interpretation. They were known for their detailed, rigorous interpretations of the Torah orally. They would develop a complex system of laws and practices to ensure that Jewish life adhered closely to the commandments. Okay. So they say. So they say. Unlike the Sadducees, another major Jewish group of the time, the Pharisees believed in the resurrection of the dead and an afterlife, which was significant theological difference between them. Now, that's kind of crazy, right? Are you saying that the Sadducees did not believe in this? But guess what? Why do you think I spent so much time going through their traumatic experiences, right? So they have Stockholm syndrome, I assure you. And hurt people. Now that doesn't really fit there. So what I'm really saying, when I say hurt people, what I'm saying is whatever they learned under this captivity, they wasn't really ready to give it all up. They held some of that and they're going to give it back to their people. All right, political and social role. The Pharisees were influential in the synagogues and among the common people. Take that part right there. They were very influential among the common people, the Pharisees. They were often seen as champions of the common Jewish person, advocating for religious observance and piety. They did not hold significant political power. This is going to be the difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? And that story I just told you about Josephus. Now, um, they did not hold significant political power in the same way as the Sadducees, who were more closely associated with the temple and the priestly class. Hmm. So one had the streets and the other had the courts, right? One had the streets and one had the government. And yet they claimed to both be Jews. That's dangerous because at any time, listen to me, because it's in the word. They say there are those who claim to be Jews and are not. At any given time, if a Pharisee is amongst the government, he could just try to blend right in, right? Why? Because a Jew is supposed to be a Jew. At the end of the day, I'm Jew. And then when he get back outside, he's out here wilding out again, back in the streets, doing his thing as a Pharisees, right? But it could go vice versa, meaning they can really go anywhere. They could be omnipresent. That's my point. They could blend in, chameleon style. They're going to be who they need to be when it's time to be it. The Pharisees were active during the time of the Second Temple, the destruction of the Second Temple, including the period of the Roman rule over Judea. They played a crucial role in the development of the rabbinic Judaism after the destruction of the Second Temple, 70 CE. The destruction of the temple led to the decline of the Sadducees and the consolidation of the Pharisaic traditions. Maybe, maybe. I don't believe that. Who were the Sadducees? Let's get into the Sadducees a little bit. Written Torah. The Sadducees adhered strictly to the written Torah. So now we're starting to see the difference, right? A little bit. Pharisees, strong oral, right? Back then, just like now, preachers preach, but when they preach outside, right? Get some figs, throw some other food in the basket, and get out there and just start preaching the word. Sadducees was a little bit different. Sadducees adhered strictly to the written Torah. The first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, if you don't know that, if you did not know that, now you know. The first 5 books in the Bible is what we consider the Torah. And they rejected the oral Torah, which is crazy. And the oral traditions and the interpretations of the Pharisees. So they rejected all of that. Why do you think they rejected? Sidebar, why do you think they rejected that? If I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna say it's easier to freestyle when you just it's not written down. You understand? You just got out of a bad relationship where people was it got crazy. You know how many fun nights they probably had in Babylon? What? Things probably got. Some was fun, but then some was like Diddy freaky parties. Diddy freaky parties is crazy. He called them freak offs. It's a little bit too much for me, right? He's calling male escorts to come over and smash Cassie while he watches and does pink cocaine. That's Babylonian business right there. That's too much for me. Unsidebar. So the Sadducees didn't really, they don't want no oral traditions, all that you're talking. We don't believe none of that. And guess what? Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection of the dead. So you can't really get these two, but yet they both Jews. But they're not about to. You know who they remind me of? They remind me of the Islamic caliphs. How they couldn't get along. Oh, it got nasty in Islam. They was putting people down fast. I don't know why they just didn't leave the area. If you stayed in the area and you might have been like next to be caliph, you was gonna get murdered, blood. These are the facts. Now I didn't call a sidebar, so I can't say unsidebar. But let's get back to this. Let's leave Islam out of this right now. But this is kind of the fact that they can't get along is what's reminding me of the caliphs. One wants to go off oral tradition. How can we go off oral tradition and y'all was in captivity for like 500 years, bro? You was in captivity y'all split 931. But still, that's a good like 300, 400 years y'all in captivity. And not regular captivity. You in captivity where we know things is going down that should not be going down. And you want the oral tradition? Bro, you wasn't living 500, 300 years, right? So how we know that story didn't change from when whoever told you? And how we know that they didn't borrow some of that story? If we just going off oral, right? Oh, going off oral is crazy. Going off oral is nasty work, right? Going off oral is crazy. But if we just going off the oral tradition, given their track record, I cannot do that. I cannot just go off the oral tradition for 300 years. It's like playing a game of telephone. It's literally like playing a game of telephone and what you might have heard. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to keep changing and changing and changing because not only are you dealing with the Babylonian myths and their stories, but you're dealing with the Zoroastrianism and you're dealing with the Greeks. Because I told you I didn't really put the Greeks in here, but rest assured, you're dealing with because they went through a period of Hellenization, and that was around 300 something BCE, right? That Alexander the Great came in. So you're dealing with that. His stories of Zeus and all those gods. Why y'all think that like ancient religions or their gods was so heavenly mixed? Like, why do y'all think the same God will have two different names, one in Greek and one in Roman? Right? Like Jupiter would be somebody. I'm not sure who Jupiter is in Greek. I'm not like an expert in these mythologies. Yeah. So Sadducees, they pretty much Jupiter is Zeus, right? Okay, Jupiter is Zeus. I thought it was. I just didn't want to say that. So in Roman myth, Jupiter is the high god. Then when you bring it over to Greek, they're going to change his name to Zeus. And then when you bring it over to Egypt, they change his name to Hermes. No, Hermes is Greek. It would be Thoth. Pretty Devon said, my dog's name is Jupiter. That sounds about right. It sounds about right. It's probably a small dog. You can't name no big dog Jupiter. Yeah. It would be Thoth in Egyptian, but then Thoth is Hermes. That's why they call them Hermes Trismegistus. I do believe that name was created during the Hellenization period, right? They just meshed the two cultures together, and you get Hermes Trismegistus. But listen, let's get back on track. We're not talking about that. Right now, we're talking about the contrast between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and it's quite interesting. Denial of afterlife. Unlike the Pharisees, the Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection of the dead, an afterlife or existence of angels and spirits. Oh, they out here on business. They're not playing no games. They just want the law. Yeah. They focus on the legalistic aspects of the Torah without extending to the eschatological or the supernatural belief. You can't do that. But these were probably the scribes, bro. I mean, obviously they're the scribes, but when I say the scribes, these are probably their descendants was probably these are like the first law people, right? I think it's undisputable that eh, America has, if I'm going to say any group has is dominates law in the United States, it's got to be the Jews, right? And I could be wrong. I just wouldn't bet on it. I would bet on myself. It's got to be the Jews that dominate law. And this is not by accident. This has been happening for a long, long time. Priestly caste. Many Sadducees were members of the priestly class Kohanim, and were associated with the Temple of Jerusalem. They held significant influence over the temple's rituals and operations. I mean, it's kind of wild. You got two different groups. One is what kind? How you holding rituals and you don't believe in supernatural stuff? This is kind of crazy. Aristocrat and wealthy. The Sadducees were often from the aristocrat and wealthy classes. So you see the difference right there? This is the first problem. You got the Pharisees, who's more the people's people. They amongst the people. Then you got the Sadducees, who are aristocrats and hanging with the wealthy. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I warn you about Josephus? Same thing he did. He got up in there and started mingling with the good folk. Yeah. They were closely connected with the ruling authorities and were involved in the administration of the Jewish society under both the Hasmonean and later Roman rule. I will get into that. That whole story deserves a show by itself, right? It does. The Sadducees had frequent disagreements with the Pharisees, you think, particularly over the religious practices and interpretations of the law. They can't get it together. And I'm telling you why they can't get it together. A lot of them, Venezuela wants to link. All right. We I think we have time for his nonsense for a little while. We definitely have a few minutes. Oh, I know what he wants to talk about. Please, I don't want to hear about Bimmy. Wait, let me just let you sit there for a second, Venezuela. Because you probably want to come up and talk about Bimmy, 050. I don't want to talk about none of that. I want to talk about Zip. I don't want to talk about none of that. Not tonight. Let me get back to this. The Pharisees believed about resurrection, afterlife, and oral traditions. See, I done that. Troy Jr. told on the team. I knew what he was coming up to talk about. Yeah. I got a couple of calls today, Venezuela. They said, your man is Bimmy's good. He said, turns out none of that was true. This is what I know already, Venezuela. You got Zip running off at the mouth. He's been said so many wrong things, it's crazy. But because he has a cool voice and a urban demeanor, he gets away with just saying what he wants to say. You got 050, who just says anything. He scrunches up his face with a, and does this thing with his neck as if what he says is valid. And he only got his start from lying. He's never stopped lying since. He lied on Jim Jones. He's still out here lying. So what are we talking about? And their numbers keep going up, and you have diehard fans that, hey, they are grown men who will die for 050. And I'm willing to kill anybody that's ready to die for them. I just want you to know that ASAP. You understand? And I'm outside. Trust and believe. I'm moving around the city. But if that's what you want to do with your life, go ahead and do it. But my point is this. These are delusional people. These are grown people who focus on the wrong things in life, and that energy is growing over there. So I'm over here doing my thing, bro. You see me over here. I got like 4 people in it. I'm cool with the 4, bro. I've been up here for an hour talking to the 4 people, blood. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm at my happiest moment when I'm not vibrating at that frequency, right? Because the same people we're talking about right now, and not all of them. I don't want to do that. That's why the Bible says there are some that say they are Jews and they are not, because there's a particular people that hide underneath Judaism, and they get out here and they make the world worse, and they want you vibrating at the worst frequency ever. But you, though, not for them, just your people, right? Because they know it's hard to manifest anything when you're vibrating out of fear. How am I going to eat? Right? How am I going to pay this bill? You see what they doing right now with jobs? They telling you there's mad jobs out here, and I promise you there's not. And then they come back the next month and then they say, "Oh yeah, we was wrong last month. It wasn't 100,000 jobs. It was only 2,000 jobs." Right? Meanwhile, we're dealing with all of this. You turn on the TV, it's all negative news. It's all politicians arguing with you. You can't get away from negativity. You can't get. Why would a world be fine-tuned like that? If we are living in a place where they can make anybody do what they want, why wouldn't they fine-tune it to really make it better for people? The answer is because they don't want to. The answer is because they want you vibrating at that frequency, because it does make a difference, right? It's all hogwash to people who don't understand it. This is why I take my painstaking time to try to explain it to a lost people, because everyone is not lost and happy. Some people have just not been educated on the things that I just so happen to understand. But I can't talk to you at a certain level because then I would lose you. So what do I have to do? I have to go back and I have to start from the beginning and say, okay, 1 + 1 is 3. And eventually you will understand, and guess what's going to happen then? You're going to go off and teach somebody. And this is how we re-educate the earth. That's a fact, pretty divine. Wallahi, check it out, TV. This is how we do it, because I will not live forever. So you will not live forever. You have to know what you was called to do, and then you will leave in the flesh. Energy, your energy won't be destroyed. It will be recycled in the cosmos, and then you will be brought back more than likely. This is why you have remnants of deja vu and, oh, I remember you, or you remember another lifetime. I remember several lifetimes. And when I was young, I used to be able to see these times very clear. As I got older, they started to go away a little bit. When I was young, I used to remember a time long time ago. I was in Egypt. That had to be thousands of years ago. And I would see this all the time, all the time. Then it was a time that it was probably I'm gonna say, ooh, Western times, right? It was probably, I'm gonna say 1800s. That always used to come up. I used to see that a lot. And these are times that, because your soul is not going to go in, your soul is, you're just going to be pushed into the cosmos, and then you're probably going to be brought back, right? And then it's funny because I think I was doing the same thing I was doing last lifetime. And the reason I say that is because I told you guys when I used to do yoga and all of that when I was young. I don't know why I used to do all of this stuff, but I used to have grown people ask me, "Yo, I see you meditating. Can I do this with you?" I'm like, "Yo, blood, I'm like 8 years old. Why are you why are you asking me? Now you got an old soul." Yeah, well, I'm back. I'm back. So I'm not here to save the lost, right? So am I shocked that these people have a lot of followers? No, right? Because that makes more sense. That makes more sense. So I let them do them over there. I don't want nothing to do with that. Fish, I don't own this platform, right? If Leo Cohen wanted to really change YouTube to make it a high vibrational play, he could do that. But you heard him on the Breakfast Club, right? He has bills to pay. And if you read your Bible, it tells you, I'm telling you right now, y'all know I read my Bible, right? I learned to, this is how I feel. When I was really, really lost, before I had this education that I'm sharing with you guys now, I felt like something was wrong, right? So then I was skeptical. And I was one of those people that would throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. I ain't reading no Bible that's written by the white man. And I was like that. And then when I started to understand, I was able to see clearer, right? And I understood there was an outer meaning to the Bible, and then there was an inner meaning. Then it made sense. It's not even nearby. They edited something that they plagiarized from the get-go. That's why I'm telling y'all. But why was it so important to them? It was so important to them because there's a lot of value in this book. And it is prophetic. I can't explain to you why it's prophetic. Maybe it's prophetic because that is just the code of the universe. Maybe things just keep repeating, right? This is not the first time that we've gotten to a height of such technology and AI. And oh, AI is going to take over the world. Maybe so, blood. But this is not the first time we had AI, right? The Atlanteans had computers, bro. Y'all just got to read the text. It's all there. This is not the first time that another species has created a hybrid. We are hybrids. How do I know this? Because it say it right in the book. That's why. It say it right here in this book. This book that they plagiarized from the text I told you to read earlier. Now, when you read those texts, the story, the epic of creation and all that, they're going to tell you plain. When you get into Ninhursag, then you're going to know, like, oh, snap. They not hiding. They telling you the straight up truth. They were straight up making people. Well, I wouldn't be so shocked because they wrote it right here in the first book of the Bible. They told you. And the many God said, let us make man in our image, after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea. I mean, they told you, right? Plato was he was telling you, they had, he was describing of what the Atlanteans had. So it's just we're going through another pattern, the same pattern, the 360 again and again. And guess what happened? They had robots before the Atlanteans, they had computers before, they had weapons that was way more dangerous than ours. And guess what? The earth corrected itself. It got quiet and we had to start all over. And that's what happens. And everything gets buried. And then there's a you start all over. And they start all over. Yes, allegory of the cave, right? The allegory of the cave could not be more realer, right? If you try to tell people about certain things, they're gonna come and kill you. You think you liberating them, right? One of my friends, he said, "Yo, you can't try to save the 85." I'm not trying to save them. I'm over here quiet on my own channel. I know what's going on. I know that y'all think, not y'all, but people think I should be talking about Diddy tonight. And there's so many other things I could be talking about. I could be talking about how Bimmy is not a rat. And I could be talking about all of that tonight, right? I could get into that vein of things and get my channel popping, and then I would be lost. Then I would be lost. And I would not be doing what I was told to do. I got one assignment. I don't do that great as a human being, but if I could just do the assignment that I was given, then I would feel okay. The Pharisees believed about resurrection, afterlife, oral traditions. The Sadducees were influential in the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council. All right. So, for my people that came to learn, shout out to B Dolo in the building. Um, we can assume that the Sanhedrin was mostly made up of the Sadducees. Okay. Because that was the Jewish ruling council that oversaw religious and legal matters. They played a crucial role in Jewish society, especially in the administration of the temple and the interpretation of the religious laws. Their influence declined after destruction of the second temple. I don't think their influence may have declined amongst the people, but the Sadducees are alive and kicking. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. They alive and they are kicking somewhere in somebody's government. Look at our own government. You take a look and tell me that if the Sadducees went anywhere, they ain't go nowhere, blood. Chuck Schumer, Sadducees. Hmm? They all around. Sidebar, the black man always talk about he this and he that and he God and he this and he that. I can't tell. Yo, they stole our identity. I don't know, blood. If they did steal your identity, they doing all right. Now they took a couple of L's. Obviously, I went over those L's tonight. But the way they whipping our ass, and I say that because they keep running the same play over and over again. So at what point don't we just stop and be like, yo, I'm not falling for the banana and tailpipe again? They have made it to a certain point and they said we will never go back to when all these other nations used to just remember those days, Babylon and Assyria, and everybody used to just cap. We would never go back to that. That's what they said. They wild out a little bit. They've been getting kicked out of nations after nations. But one thing I don't like about our culture, we we don't care to be professional in the sense of like I know this earth is a facade, right? But we are so aggressive, and that's all we want to show people is that you better not play with us. And it don't be working because we the most jailed people on this planet. So I don't know why you think just because you running around, you don't mess with the black man. Yes, you do mess with the black man because the black man is an idiot. He's going to kill himself, and or he's going to end up in jail, right? Why? Because we can't wait to crash out. So in the fact that we would keep thinking that a weakness is a strength is bananas. And the fact that we would keep trying to turn L's into W's is nuts. They're not W's. They're not. We're not winning. At some point, the first thing we need to look at is civility amongst ourselves and understand that we are being behaviorally engineered to chop down our own self. And I could call it a magic spell, but it's just an algorithm that they got. It's just if they put it in the bag, they're gonna try it, right? And they don't care who they do it to, right? Drake is supposed to be half Jewish. They had Drake out here wearing all type of barrettes and everything. I don't know what they promised Drake. I don't know what they promised him. Boy was out here wearing nail polish, right? He's wearing barrettes. He's doing his humiliation ritual. Just when he thought he won, yo, here's 400 mil, baby. That's for you. Word. Got him. Thought I was feeling you? Oh, thought I was feeling you? Got him. 400 mil. He's out here working his buns off trying to pay back the 400 mil. 360 deal. You know Drake right now can't come out with an album that they don't approve of. He can't do it. So they could really shelf Drake is what I'm telling you. They could shelf him. Right? Whatever they give the black man, and I say give, whatever they give you, you're going to take it. Got you. Somebody's going to take it. We got to stay on code. That's one thing I would give them. They going to stay on code. They start yelling. One person say anti-Semitic, everybody say anti-Semitic. Right? And it's not going to stop until they all get the word, okay, he's cool now. We could go back to selling Adidas again. Right? All right, she apologized. She could come back on the show. All right, he took off his stupid little turban. Nick Cannon, he can come back. Just make him wear some glitter socks for a while. Yeah. But not us. Colin Kaepernick got out there, wore the Angela Davis afro and everything. He just knew he was doing the right thing. It hurts his heart to this day to think that he got down on one knee for our people. And he got screwed over. God forbid. We didn't stay on code. We couldn't even boycott a damn game. We couldn't even boycott a damn game. Now, granted, I don't even watch football until Super Bowl, right? That's when I watch football. Not watching football. I don't really watch football. But if it was for our people, like that's why we can't win. We can't even say, yo, let's boycott Gucci. Soon as we say that, Jim Jones pops out of nowhere in a Gucci store with 5 mics drunk, talking about how they didn't get their money's worth. What are you talking about, Black? I thought we were supposed to be boycotting them. Like when? Yo, we can't stay on cold, bro. Yo, if we did like the Hasidics and just wore black and white, yo, they would hurt. They would be begging. Yo, they would be on our feet. Yo, all type of discounts, inviting us everywhere until they won. Until they got one person to be like, yo, we cool. We could go back to wearing overpriced European clothing again. All I asked for is 1 week of us. I wish I had that power to say, yo, nobody of color buy anything high priced this week. Anything luxury, not this week. I don't care what you do next week. Just don't do it this week. Oh, they would try to have me assassinated. You know what that week would do to them? And it's scary. All right. So we know the difference between the Pharisees and the Sadducees. The development of the Talmud, which is central text in rabbinic Judaism, developed significantly after the Babylonian exile. Well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? What was created after the Babylonian exile? Now, I'm just going to go off the fact that I have a little bit of sense and say it's very hard to write something and stay focused without being inspired or interfered by someone else's culture, right? You're trying to maintain your culture, but yet you're suppressed for like 300 years. How does some of that not get into your own as you're writing the Talmud? Before the Babylonian exile, Jewish traditions were primarily preserved through oral teachings, Pharisees, and practices. Written texts included the Torah existed, but the comprehensive body of rabbinic tradition that would become the Talmud was yet not yet formalized. Here's something that's going to blow your mind. I'll tell you in a second. The destruction of the first temple. This must be out of. I'm gonna read it anyway. This slide is out of place. The first temple of Jerusalem, also known as Solomon's temple, was destroyed 586 BCE by the Babylonian King Nebuchadnezzar II. This event marked the beginning of the Babylonian exile, during which many Jewish people were taken captive and exiled to Babylon. The destruction of the first temple was a significant moment in Jewish history. Yeah. All right. Post exile. After the Jews returned from Babylonian exile and rebuilt the second temple, we went over that tonight, 516, Jewish religious and legal scholarship continued to evolve. It's very funny that they would have the two distinguished, but yet, I don't know why. I don't know yet how or why that happened. Right? You had the Pharisees, more of the common people, and more of the oral tradition. Hey, this is what happened. They out there doing their bebop thing. But then you have some people who was more focused on the legal aspect of things to this day. Anyway, oral traditions continued to be important. Discussions and interpretations of the Torah became more structured. The period following the destruction of the Second Temple marked a significant development in Jewish scholarship. Rabbinic Judaism emerged as the central form of Jewish practice focused on the interpretation of the Torah and oral traditions. All right. The Mishnah. The Mishnah, a key component of the Talmud, was compiled by Rabbi Judah Hanasi around 200 CE. It is a written collection of oral traditions and legal rulings. Then you get the Gemara, which comments on the expands upon the Mishnah. So it elaborates on the Mishnah. And this was developed over the following centuries. The Gemara, along with the Mishnah, constitutes the Talmud. The Gemara was compiled in two main versions. The Jerusalem Talmud, completed around 400 CE in the land of Israel, or if you want to say Jerusalem. And then the Babylonian, this is what confuses me. You had two Talmuds. You had that were completed about roughly 100 years from each other, right? But the Babylonian Talmud is the one that the Jewish people they accept more readily. That's kind of wild to me. But going back to what I said, there was I blame it on post-traumatic syndrome, right? They spent a lot of time over there. There's just going to be some things that they culturally they walked away with, whether it be magic, whether it be rituals, whether it be things that they necessarily did not. Did they have a culture anyway? I don't say that disrespectfully, but the Jews have been through so much. It seems like they never get a break, right? The Hebrews have been through so much. It seemed like they never really got a break and just maintained in a land of their own without being captive and without being under somebody else's rule. That's the end of my show for right now. I have more stuff to talk about, but it would be inconceivable to even get into that stuff right now. So we're not going to get into none of that right now. Let's just stay right where we at. End on a good note. And that's part 3. And that's where I'm ending with this, right? And I know people walked away from this 3-part series knowing more than they did. Aubrey, you outside my door? Okay. My daughter's a clown. She said K. Guess what? I enjoy doing this with y'all guys. I enjoy doing it. Um, Let me put the medicine cabinet up one more time. Just so before we leave, you could just. This is our medicine cabinet. Splashing has been putting the medicine cabinet up in the comments. But if you're watching this on a replay, you're like, how do I get to the medicine cabinet, Saladin? I need some euthanasia because you know they about to come with the flu and all of that. Then you just want to go to the description. It's at the bottom of the description, the link. And you can go and you can get, you know, I just got the corn silk powder in. That is going to be for, I think that's your kidneys. Corn silk powder. Devil's claw, we're doing, that's for pain, inflammation. Quite a few people have been hitting me up about the arthritis. So you want to do devil's claw on that. Euthanasia, cold and flu. This is just a tea that I find tasty, the cinnamon apricot tea. Golden seal, quite a few things you could deal with golden seal, but it is going to clean you out, and it also does um, inflammation as well. Lemongrass, marigold, soothes skin irritation, promotes wound healing, reduces inflammation, and aids in digestion. Lemongrass, including aiding in digestion, again, reducing inflammation. So you got a few things down here that aids in inflammation. Marshmallow leaf. I love the marshmallow leaf. Um, soothes mucous membranes in the respiratory and digestive tracts, relieves stomach irritation, indigestion, ulcers, alleviates inflammation and irritation in the urinary tract, including bladder and infectious, women stuff. Um, I got some Irish sea moss down here, the Chondrus crispus, right? Oh, I got the milk thistle in here for the liver, right? We got the white runts, just in case you want, right? You may be ordering something else and be like, you know what? I'm gonna do an A for the white runts too. Handle your business. You do you. You do you. So that's how you get to the medicine cabinet. Um, we are gonna have yeah, I'll talk about it later. Edibles. They're on their way. They're coming. The team, we're putting it together. All right. That being said, I might go off the rails this week. I don't know. I do want to talk about Diddy. He's just not priority in my life. But I wanted to hear this morning they had the case sealed. So it was no reason for me to like just come up here and be like, yo, Diddy's in jail. Okay. Right? Stevie J's gonna look crazy out here at an all you can eat buffet by itself. That's gonna look nuts. He can't do those stupid faces by himself. Yo, to think, Diddy, you was good after the 30 million, blood. Little Rod wanted 21 more $1,000, bro. You was a billionaire. Always remember, Diddy. Little Rod wanted 21 more $1,000. You gave him 29. That man created one of the dopest albums of 2003, 23, right? And if it's any condolence, I'm still listening to the Love album. The last song by her is called Space. One of my favorite joints. Right? But the Love album all together, he got the joint with oh man. Who's that? Summer Walker? The joint with Summer Walker's dope. Ty Dolla Sign is dope. He's on 2 tracks. It was a dope album. Little Rod did his thing. He just wanted 50. Little Rod wanted $50,000 in his production points, and you did a Diddy move. Fool. You did a Diddy move. You didn't play those games with Cassie, right? She just poked her chest out. She didn't even do nothing. You was like, yo, pay her 30 million. Pay her and the physical trainer 30 million. Things it would have went away, right? Everybody was like, yo, did he pay 30 million? And it would have went away. Until you got caught. Who told you to do that? Stupido. I just want to remind you, they gave R. Kelly 30 years, Carlito. God, 30 years, Carlito. I can't walk, I can't hump. 30 years. They gave Natalie 30 years, blunt. Carlito's way. They gave R. Kelly 30 years, blood. Now, if it wasn't for him peeing on the little girl, I would have had his back because I know that they set him. That Ariel chick set him up. I know that, but they got him on trafficking too, bro. And the fact that I did see him peeing on some little girl in the barbershop. I was in the barbershop. He wasn't in the barbershop. I was in the barbershop getting a fade, and they was playing the R. Kelly tape in the barbershop. And I looked back, and I was like, oh, snap. Your man is out here wilding. So because of that, yeah, you got to go to jail, R. Kelly. But keep in mind, you made some of the best music while you was free, bro. You just had a sickness. You understand? You just had a sickness. But if you think for 1 second that I won't be stepping in the name of love because you wild out, you're wilding, blood. Any wedding that I decide to show up to and they put on step in the name of love, your boy is stepping in the name of love forever. Forever, bro. Nothing can stop me from stepping in the name of love. You was one of the best composers there was. 90s, that's all R. Kelly. That was all you, bro. I can't sleep, babe, without you in my life. Sheesh. You was incredible. And now you in there banging on tables, making beatboxes. It's crazy. So for Diddy to think they won't send him to jail at this point, I think when you started talking all that black pride and this, yo, same thing with Cosby, yo. Cosby has always pretty much been pro black, but when he really tried to buy NBC, he went above and beyond. Had to shut him down, bro. Shut him down. Chuck these down. 50 Dykes came out. So 50 of the hardest looking women in all of life came out, right? Stone face broads. God forbid you put anything in their drinks. Should have put cyanide in these chicks' drinks the way they look. And the one to bring them down, she was like 8 feet tall. With the dried up Jerry curls. She's like, yeah, he did that. I'm like, hell no. Not you, baby. Never. I'm not even gonna put that on Bill Cosby. Just take him away. I'm just not gonna put that on him. Not you. You tell me anybody else. I'm like, yeah, Bill probably did that, right? You? Hell no. Bill Cosby ain't put nothing in your drink. Knock it off. Sat him down. Let me tell you how devious the world is. This here United States. He just woke up one morning and they let him go just like that. Now you're free. Right? That was just to put you in your place. You was always supposed to be free. That was just to put you in your place. The scribes, they wrote the laws. I'm trying to tell you, they dominate all of that from then to now. We just went over the whole lesson. From then to now, they saying the Sadducees left. The Sadducees ain't go nowhere. No. Nowhere but to the penthouse up in the sky. That's it. And you got Reverend, I call him Reverend. He might as well be a Reverend. You got Rabbi Smooly out here. He's playing both sides, Rabbi Smooly, right? He goes and takes orders from the Sadducees. Then he comes out here like he's a Pharisees, running through the tunnels delivering messages. Yeah, I gotta clean those tunnels up. That was nasty work. It was nasty work. Ugh. Yo, we gonna see what's up, y'all. I gotta eat my dinner, watch some stuff. Thanks to everybody for coming out. Trish, thank you. The General Splashing, thank you. Tiger and his wife. Shout out to Tiger and his wife. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Um, check it out, TV. Thank you. B Dolo. Venezuela came over. I couldn't let him up because he was going to talk street nonsense. And tomorrow's the time for that. Tomorrow's the time for that. I might go ham tomorrow. We try to get Zip over here. The 050 the movement. Let's just go crazy tomorrow, right? We get 10 toes up here. Let's talk it out. Yeah, I think we might have to do that tomorrow. I might have to try to get Big Nose Choice Son up here, right? Everybody's just wilding for fame. But why throw an innocent man in the middle of this, right? And then here's the streets, the stupid street stipulations, right? This is why I don't listen to nobody that is part of Zip and 050 the movement. Their one answer is, yo, show this, right? Show the, what do they call it? What's that piece of paperwork they talk about? They want Bimmy to show. But what they're not understanding, the affidavit, right? But they're not understanding because they don't care or they just ignorant. Is by doing this, it's going to have a domino effect that they're not considering because they're so ignorant. And it's like anything for a view. And when you start doing anything for a view, you dangerous, right? Because anything can happen at that point. Show the affidavit. Mess around. The affidavit prove that Bimmy's not a rat at all, but something else may come of it that he may not want that information out there spread all across that has nothing to do with him. He may be protecting somebody else. But these fools, they don't think about nobody else, right? We know China Brim don't think about nobody else except himself. And apparently Zip only thinks about himself, right? He'll say whatever to try to protect it. And what I don't get about their fan base is even when they dead wrong, their fan base still be with them. And that's when I just lost a lot of respect for people. And I said, please, y'all go over there. Y'all good. We good. We don't got no beef. I'm not even supposed to be over there anyway. I'm not even supposed to be. I'm good. I got like a good strong 9 to 15 people over here. Strong. I'm happy. We build sometime. We out here wilding on some other times. But just to go with somebody wrong, if I start talking wrongness and just out here wilding, talking stupidness, which my views would go up, I would expect them to go down. That's how backwards this is. That's how backwards this is. I should end on my song, The Upside Down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm ending on my song, The Upside Down. Because that's why I wrote the song. If I started talking stupidness right now, my views should go down. They're not going to go down. I don't even know what that song is at. I'm wilding, promising things I can't give. I don't know where that song is at. You tripping, Saladin? It should be right here, though. Salute, check it out, TV. Salute, bro. I'm about to end. I'm just trying to see if I can find the. I don't think I can find it. I'm finding all type of stupid songs I've never even knew I recorded. That's crazy. Oh, you know what I can do? Just look down here. See. Upside Down. Now I want to hear the song. Nope. Oh, there it is right there. All right. Let's present this. Oh, it's already presented. Splash, can you hear that? Can y'all hear that? Because you know how they do. They may not be playing it.
That road right there leads to nowhere. Seeing where they going, I don't even want to go there. Seeing how they joking, looking like the only pro here. My principles of school, y'all sure you don't want to go there. The rules back out, you scared, find you a safe house. Not saying that we violent, just saying we need a way out. Dead niggas sleep, broke niggas looking for handouts. Fuck niggas wearing dresses and skirts so they can stand up. Gotta get it, how you live, you scamming the right checks. Home invasions for the weed, explain it to your connect. That was needed for the bail, somebody gonna be upset. These are risks you consider committed to your success. She loves street niggas, you love her looking the dress. She gotta get the Paris, you dying for your respect. She told him you the plug, you getting it from the west. Grab your land and your pay, baby, I can give you a test. All eyes on you. I just wanna be a fucking shooter, so I can write it down, talk about it in my music. I just wanna be somebody. I just wanna be known for selling drugs, so I can get the same respect as all the thugs. I just wanna be somebody. Walk a shame, please. Let me call you that Uber. You did it for the gram and some drinks. I owe it to you. You was talking slick to my man. That man's a shooter. Now you can leave the rope at the door, slippers included. I grow domestic product and social media narcissists. We all shooting stars and all shooting the fathers. When really all we are is a notch on the belt and the belts in the closet, in the closets in the small ass house getting demolished. The complicated dynamics of the honest true percentage of real actual chances of you becoming rich over nothing that's outlandish. But you still gonna try it, and I won't understand it. But I'm a simple mister, get his energy from planet, so I don't write destructive and promote drinkers, addicts. Atheists, I get it, goddamn, it's satanics and an opioid addiction through the music's underhanded. But all feels and war against yourself, including damage. They out here selling dreams, and I see you took advantage. Put that pie in the sky that'll never plan on landing. Got big brother ears, you'll never plan on planning. Time keeps moving like a favorite song is on, and it's out here jamming. Instead of changing the song, you just keep on dancing. Whether right or wrong, you know real niggas do real things and it belongs. I just wanna be a fucking shooter, so I can write it down, talk about it in my music. Say, I just wanna be somebody. I just wanna be known for selling drugs, so I can get the same respect as all the thugs. Say, I just wanna be somebody, please. It's the upside down, it's the upside down, it's the upside down, it's the upside down. It's the upside down. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. What's wrong is right, what's wrong is right. And what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. What's wrong is right, what's wrong is right. It's the upside down, upside down, upside down. It's the upside down, upside down, upside down. It's the upside down, upside down, upside down. It's the upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down.
Thank y'all. God bless. I pray safety over all y'all lives. Until we meet again. Peace out.